You're back now.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like my camera's behaving weirdly though. Is it blurry? Or is that just me? Or my eyes just might be blurry. I don't know.
Yeah. Can we just
Could be
accept
the
it? Because
drug.
you're like, I don't know, what is it? What is it? How late are you?
Like
9
8
minutes?
minutes. Come on. I'm usually way later than that. Don't give me that crap.
Oh. Yep. Jack said to tell you to pinch it off. Let's go.
Man, my audio was misbehaving. I don't know what was happening. Like, I couldn't get my stupid. Like, I love my new JBLs, but they do not like to connect to things that are new, like that they haven't connected to in a while. So, like, if I disconnect them from one thing and then connect them to something else and then try to go back, they go, nah, not doing it. And it just, one of these days, Alice, right to the moon.
No, we gotta get on the good audio headphones at some point.
Yeah, but they're expensive, and I am broke.
I think I paid $40 or $38 for mine. It was right about the same price as my mic.
Yeah, my JBL in-ear monitors were like $100 normally. I paid $50 because they're 50% off for Black Friday.
Nice.
So they're expensive, but they're just a giant pain.
Yes, Jack, go Niners. They're currently leading right now, 16-12.
Really?
Yeah, fucking Cowboys kicker can't make fucking field goals. Bastards.
Hey, you know what though? The Bengals won, and that makes me very happy. So
Niners
anyway.
Bengals Super Bowl.
That would be an interesting Super Bowl. That would be like a very 90s Super Bowl.
The Niners have beat them in the Super Bowl before. I want to say it was late. It was early 90s is when they beat them. But like I remember the Icky Woods scoring a touchdown due to the Icky shuffle.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying though. Is like
we have listeners that weren't alive when that happened.
Oh God. Yeah, I just watched a video the other day, a TikTok where this girl works at a dispensary and she was talking about having somebody come in who's 21 and she like looked and realized that they were born in 2002.
Yep.
And she was like, "Oh my God. You literally weren't born until after 9/11."
Yeah. It just it hurts. We're old. We're old. But yes, hello. Welcome to another fantastic-ish episode of Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable Discussion. Before we get started, let me first remind you that we are covered by the BIPCOT No Government License, which allows for the use and the reuse of this podcast by anyone and everyone except for governments and the bludgies thereof. You can learn more about that at bipcot.org. That's BIPCOT.org. We're also covered by Brandenburg v. Ohio in 1969, which ruled that the government cannot punish inflammatory speech unless that speech is, quote, directed to inciting or producing imminent action and is likely to cite or produce such action. Therefore, everything said here on Anarchy Among Friends Roundtable Discussion is entirely hypothetical. This is episode 209. Yeah, that was as far as I got in my mental preparedness.
Giddy up 209.
What the hell does that even mean?
I don't know. It came in my head because the 09 and Beach Boys and I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with that. It's just a thing that happened.
Oh, okay. That makes no sense to me, but whatever.
I say things and half the time I don't know where I'm going. By the time they come out of my mouth, I'm like, I'm just as surprised as everyone else.
Oh, come on, Dave. You can't say shit like that right before we start a podcast.
Oh, man.
Dave, poppinspackage.com. Dave says, used to have students at the high school that would run up crying after they realized 9/11 was a real event and not just a meme template.
Yeah.
All right, so Dave's blocked.
Wait until they find out about Pearl Harbor.
Oh,
That's also not a crappy Ben Affleck movie.
With the exception of Ben Affleck, that was a decent movie.
No, well, with the exception of literally everything outside of the attack, it was a garbage movie. But the attack itself was fantastic. There was like 20 minutes of that movie that were great. And then it all went downhill. And it had been downhill beforehand.
Well, and every scene with Liv Tyler. And every scene with Liv Tyler. That was good.
I mean, there was the funny line of the one line with are you kidding me? If you died and your best friend started banging that, you're telling me you wouldn't come back and haunt the shit out of them?
Yes. Oh, okay. So where do we want to start? Well, let's get into this. Where do we want to start? Did you look at any of them?
I haven't looked at any of them, but I saw what they were, which is why I'm wearing my taxation is theft patch.
Oh, so was that where you want to start?
Yeah, we can start with the IRS.
I did.
Oh, we will start with the IRS.
I did hide one from you.
Oh.
I did hide one from you, so I do have a secret article. And I purposely did not share it in our group chat this week because I wanted it to be fresh. It went. Oh. It was like it was a major story for like I saw it on Twitter like 3 or 4 times, and that was it. Like it wasn't trending, it wasn't anything, but it's one of those stories that will like you'll get all Andrew about it.
Oh, cool. We'll have to save that for near the end then, probably.
Oh, no. We're going to go right to it.
What?
Yes.
Right into it. Before I even have a chance to work my way into shit.
No, you were late. This is your fault. Family of Arkansas inmate who died of malnutrition files lawsuit against facility.
Malnutrition.
Okay. Why he is there, we'll get to that. Okay. The family of a man who died from dehydration and malnutrition while being held at a West Arkansas jail filed a federal lawsuit claiming jail staff ignored his medical and mental health needs. Okay. Larry Eugene Prince Jr. died at Sebastian County Jail in August 2021 after being held a little over a year at the facility waiting on a trial on a terroristic threatening charge. Prince, 51, who had a history of serious mental illness, had been held in solitary confinement at the county facility, according to the lawsuit. The lawsuit against Sebastian County accuses the jail and its medical provider of neglecting Prince as he ate and drank less over the course of a year, and his weight dropped from 185 pounds to 90 pounds.
That jail staff
jail staff discontinued Price's mental health medications after he refused to take them, the lawsuit said, and he didn't make any efforts to follow up with the inmate to address mental health needs. Quote, Larry Price suffered the tortured throes of his untreated medical disorder for months on end as jail healthcare and security staff watched him waste away, apathetic to his life-threatening medical and mental health needs and the cruelty of his confinement. That's what the lawsuit says. The lawsuit was filed against Sebastian County and Turnkey Health Clinics, LLC, the jail's medical provider, along with 2 employees of Turnkey. It also lists several unnamed employees of the county jail of Turnkey as defendants. Okay. We're okay. This is where. Hold on. So you're with me so far, right?
Yeah. So basically, this guy's locked up. He's mentally ill. They're aware that he's mentally ill. They
Yes.
lock him up because he made terroristic threats, probably because of his mental illness.
And in solitary confinement.
Yeah, alone in solitary confinement, which we all know is great for mental health.
Yes.
And then ignore the fact that he loses 50% of his weight because he's not eating.
Yes. Okay. Now, are you ready to learn about why he was arrested?
Mm-hmm.
Prince was arrested in August 2020 after he walked into the Fort Smith Police Department and threatened officers while pointing his finger as if he were pulling an imaginary trigger. Price, who also had developmental disabilities, was homeless at the time of his arrest. Andrew's about to lose it.
So a very mentally ill, developmentally delayed,
mentally ill, developmentally disabled,
homeless man
walked
goes,
into the police department and threatened officers, quote unquote, threatened officers by pointing his finger as if he were pulling an imaginary trigger. For that, they threw him in a cage on terroristic threats, threw him into solitary confinement,
and let him starve to death.
Yes. Because he pointed a finger.
Can you imagine, right? And the only reason that any of these piles of shit thought that this was acceptable in their brains, right, is because he is in the body of a full-grown man. If he had been in the body of where he was developmentally,
51 years old.
Yeah, if he had been in the body of where he was developmentally, he's probably like 14, right? 13, 12,
somewhere
something like that.
I can't argue against that without knowing the guy.
Can you imagine if a 12-year-old walked into a police department and started going like this, and as a joke, and then in response, the police threw him to the ground, handcuffed him, presumably tased him, chuck him into solitary confinement, and then forget that he exists and let him starve to death?
Yes. So this is a 51-year-old man went from 150 pounds to 90 pounds. And then so he stopped taking his pills, presumably because he was in solitary confinement, right? So he's battling his demons. And then they stopped trying to follow up with him. So they left the mentally disabled, or the developmentally disabled man with mental illness locked in a cell by himself and stopped checking on him.
Yeah, and just left him there as he continued to drop weight and starve, and his mental health continued to deteriorate, and they just ignored him. And as he, I'm sure, was pleading for assistance, they continued to ignore him and continued to ignore him. And he was in on charges, right? Not convicted.
On awaiting trial.
Yeah, so he's innocent until proven guilty even.
Yep. The only charge was a terroristic threatening charge because he pointed a finger.
Because this is how police view you. Right? Like this is a microcosm of how police view the average American. You are chattel. They are the important things. You are nothing but sheep, and we're the sheepdog. So
this is Arkansas also. So I mean, this isn't.
Well, yeah. So this is right. So this is the American South, and and I've raved about the police in the American South before, and how they are the most power trippy, psychopathic.
Not only this is the American South. This is Fort Smith.
Oh,
the Fort Smith area. So, and if you know, you know.
Yeah. Oh, but I mean, like these guys are the most power trippy pile of crap cops who just look at absolutely everyone, right, that is not also a cop as nothing but chattel. That's all you are, and they can do to you as they please, right? They are the sheepdogs, and you are the sheep.
Yes, and terroristic threats. That's the ultimate catch-all. It's kind of like what's the other term that they use when writing a ticket?
or contempt of cop or whatever.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
But I mean, that's the thing is like all he did was he did like what would amount to a childish prank, right? Like something that no human being should ever take seriously ever. That's all he did. And we don't even know for sure that he did that because he never had a day in trial because they
Well,
starved a man to death.
At 51, he's old enough to remember watching Happy Days, right? He remembers Fonzie, right? The finger guns,
Hey.
right?
Yeah.
That was Fonzie's thing, right? I mean, developmentally disabled, or sorry, developmentally disabled, right? So mental illness, like that's exactly what it could have been.
Yeah, and I can pretty much tell you,
we won't know because he won't be on trial.
Well, and the sequence of events is going to be too probably that he walks in, does something like that, like they say something to him, he does the finger gun thing, they then get all pissed off at him, and then he doesn't understand why they're mad. They start grabbing at him. He then becomes upset because again, he doesn't understand why he's being attacked and why they are mad. And then they proceed to probably very much brutalize him as they arrest him, because we know historically from people who have developmental delays and mental illness that is how police treat them.
Yes.
So we know that that's how people who are either developmentally disabled or they are in some way mentally ill, they are the ones who are most likely to get treated the most violently and the most nastily by police, right? Statistically, that is the case. Those are the most at-risk people during interactions with police. So we know that they probably then treated him like crap. Then, because he resisted arrest, didn't respect their authority, they throw the man in a deep, dark hole and forget he ever existed, as if they're medieval feudal lords, and just let him starve to death. It would have been more merciful for them just to shoot him at the time and kill him so that his death was quick. But they didn't want quick because that would be politically inconvenient for them. It's much better if they let him starve to death while he still hasn't gone to trial.
Yes, because he couldn't afford $1,000 bail. How about that?
$1,000 bail because he went, hey, that's seriously $1,000.
Yeah, $1,000 bail. I had to find that in another article, but.
And he was, how long was he in the cell?
Like just over a year. Just over a year.
A year. Oh, but don't worry though. You have constitutional right to a fair and speedy trial, right? Like the Constitution will save you.
He was arrested August 2020 and then died August 2021. So yeah, a year.
Yeah. No. So he's in jail for a year for going like this. Yeah, that's definitely that's not cruel and unusual punishment. That's not. You're definitely
you're homeless. Here's $1,000 bail.
Yeah. That's absolutely. Well, I mean, even not even homeless people. Imagine like even anybody who works paycheck to paycheck. Do you think the average American can just drop $1,000 for bail?
No. Speaking of bail, did you read the article out of Houston? A judge. So a guy gets arrested for like kidnapping and terroristic threats and assault on like his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend or whatever. But it was like 2 charges, and the judge goes, okay, you're going to have a $1 bond on each charge. So it's a $2 bond. The guy gets out on $2 bond. They put an ankle monitor on him, and 2 days later, he kidnaps and beats up the girl again. Yeah.
Yeah, because this is how this system works, right? And remember that the cash bail system is not is not in the spirit of the Constitution.
Dave says they can't force feed people without doctor's orders. I understand that, right? You know, the whole force.
Yeah, but they didn't.
That's a whole moral issue. I agree with that completely. But they stopped checking on him.
Yeah, they just like left him alone.
Trying, right? They left him alone.
And at some point, and I guarantee you that at some point.
They turned him into sloth. They just left him alone. Here's your food and water.
Yeah. At some point, had they been checking on him, they would have felt a moral obligation. I would like to think at least a little humanity would kick in. They'd feel a moral obligation to take him to a medical facility to make sure that he gets checked on, right? Even even the prisoners who were actively hunger striking in the maze for the IRA, right, in the 80s, even they started getting medical help
Well, yeah,
as they started
but
dying.
the thing with them though is they were they had the mental awareness, right? The mental consciousness or whatever, right? To get that medical care, right? Remember, this guy is developmentally disabled, right?
Yeah.
Developmentally delayed or disabled or whatever it was, and then mental illness. So I doubt he was reaching out at all. I doubt he was talking to his lawyer. I doubt he was talking to anyone really.
Well, and the thing is even if he was reaching out to a lawyer, right? He's the only thing he's getting is a court-appointed attorney, right? He's getting
Probably, yeah.
a public pretender. And we all know that they also work for who? The court system. They don't work for their clients. They work for the court system. They don't care. And if they're not getting cooperation out of their client, which they're not going to because he's developmentally delayed and mentally ill, they're not going to. And how many cases do they have? And he's not reaching out, right? Which means they never think about him. They never worry about it. And who knows how much this guy was manipulated by the court system to allow a fair and speedy trial to get pushed out and pushed out and pushed out, right? That public pretender probably was like, oh yeah, next Friday doesn't work for me. Can we push it out to the, oh, well, we're going to have to waive our right to a fair and speedy trial. That's okay with you, right? So we get in front of the right judge. Okay. And then they're just going to delay and delay and delay.
Yep. So aren't you happy I shared that article?
Yeah. And meanwhile, as they're delaying and living their fat fucking lives as members of the fucking elite that rule over you, and these fucking cops get to go home and beat 40% of their reported wives. As that's all going on, and these fat cats are getting fatter, this poor guy is rotting away alone with his demons in a cell and dying of starvation.
Yeah, and dehydration.
Dehydration.
Two things, yeah.
Yeah, and what is going to happen to those cops? Nothing. Absolutely,
they weren't cops. They were
nothing.
A private facility. They were private corporation on a government contract.
Yeah, even less is probably going to happen to them.
Yeah, so
it's just going to quietly get swept under the rug, and they're going to go oopsie doodles and then move on. And a man is dead who didn't need to die, whose constitutional rights were violated. Nothing is going to happen to anyone. Not the police who arrested him, who shouldn't have.
No,
not the jailers who jailed him.
Insurance will pay off the family. And the sheriff is doing an investigation, quote unquote, investigation in the facility. Well, that's about it.
And find that it was an honest mistake and therefore no wrongdoing was intended and move on with their day.
Yep. So, all right, let's move on to something more enraging.
Dave just pointed out that, even he saw where prosecutors would constantly push out court dates so that people would take a plea deal. That's what they did to me. They pushed that out for 18 months. They pushed it out so that I would take a plea deal.
So, how about? Okay. Now that Andrew's all hyped up, let's calm him down. So there was a new poll, a new Gallup poll, about the approval rating of Congress. Did you see this?
No.
Members of Congress rank only above telemarketers in poll on ethics and honesty.
Oh, that's still giving them too much credit.
Yeah. Only telemarketers are ranked lower than members of Congress for honesty and ethical standards by Americans, a list topped by nurses and medical professionals, according to a poll released Tuesday. So this is from January 10th. A paltry 2% said the ethical standards of their elected representatives were very high, and only 7% said they are high, according to the Gallup poll. It also found that 62% say their lawmakers have honesty and ethics problems, with 37% saying their standards are low and 25% saying they are very low.
Congress members were rated lower than used car salesmen on ethics and honesty.
Yes. 28% rate them as average. At the bottom, just 6% of Americans rate telemarketers as either high or very high ethical standards, while 59% say low or very low. But yeah,
They were ranked 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 positions below attorneys in
below
trustworthiness.
below labor union leaders.
People would trust Jimmy Hoffa more than they would trust the average congressman.
Yes. Yes.
Oh my God.
Let's see. Journalist.
Journalists are way down there too, barely above advertisers.
Journalists are higher than members of Congress. No. Yes, I had to bring that up.
Well, yeah. I mean, there's nothing scarier than I'm from the government and I'm here to help you.
Remember, this is on ethics and honesty, right? This isn't like an approval rating. So this is
right. Yeah, so but I'm just like everyone's well aware.
Congress was rated less honest and less ethical than journalists, than business executives, than car salesmen, than real estate agents, than judges, than high school teachers.
Dude, I just think the fact that they're ranked lower than used car salesmen, like more people believe that, hi, I'm Honest Bob, is something that you can trust more than somebody going, that's why I'm running for Congress, so I can serve you. Like, I just want to put in perspective, more people trust the sleazeball with the 89 Tercel duct tape together than they do some sleazeball in a suit. Some marble.
The Pine Island slight water damage.
Yeah. Yeah. The
Pine Island motors with the slight water damage. How about that, Jack? That's more trustworthy than Congress.
Mild flooding. Yeah, this is like people trust the people who will try and sell you, a 2003 Chevy Silverado from New Orleans. Then they as a not a clean and clear title. They will trust that guy
with only 55,000 miles.
Yeah.
only driven to church.
New interior. Like they will trust that guy before they will trust a congressman, which I mean is good news. It means people are understanding that you can't trust them at all. But the fact that they're still ranked above telemarketers is a bad sign. Because telemarketers at least will generally deliver on their promises. You'll pay them money for something stupid and you'll get something stupid in return. In the case of Congress, you give them money for something stupid and you get something that might actually cause your death.
Also on this list is accountants, with 7% saying they have very high moral and ethics, 34% say high. 6% say they have low, and it looks like about 0.5% say that they have very low ethics.
Somebody's confusing accountants with the IRS.
Yes, which is a nice segue to the next article. After I check the 49ers score, I will bring up that article.
49ers aren't important. Who's important is the Bengals, and they're going to beat Kansas City, and they're going to get another Super Bowl, and I'm going to have yet another Joe Burrow Super Bowl jersey to buy.
I'm saying 49ers Bengals Super Bowl would be fantastic. We'd have to live stream it or live react to it or something.
Dude, I'd feel like I was a kid again. Like I'd have to before the game play a bunch of Matchbox 20 and Goo Goo Dolls and
I'm telling you, I will say that I greatly enjoyed this whole week talking shit with Joshua Smith, Break the Cycle podcast. Josh grew up a couple blocks from me. I'm a couple years older, but we grew up just a couple blocks apart, and he's a Cowboys fan. Yes.
Why?
I'm obvious. There's no accounting for taste, but he's a Cowboys fan, and we've been talking shit all week long, and it's just a really good time because I remember those 49ers Cowboys rivalries of the mid and late 90s, early aughts. And I got to see a lot of those highlights this week. It was fantastic. But
I mean, I will admit, I did have a Cowboys starter jacket back in the day, and I'm not proud of it, but I did.
I think everybody did at one point.
And a Charlotte Hornets one too. I had a Hornets starter jacket. I was very proud of that one. I was way too poor to have one. We won't go into how I got it.
Was that the Charlotte Hornets? Yeah, Joe Montana, Steve Young, bro.
Oh,
but in 2022, the IRS went after the very poorest taxpayers. That was the segue before we got distracted.
What a shocker.
Yeah, Syracuse University's Transactional Records Access Clearinghouse, TRAC, released data provided to it by the Internal Revenue Service on audits performed by the agency in the fiscal year 2022. Despite the infusion of new funding earmarked for the IRS via last year's Inflation Reduction Act, the agency continued historic trends of hassling primarily low-income taxpayers and relatively few millionaires and billionaires getting caught up in the audit sweep.
You know, I'm disappointed. I got my new guillotine necklace, and I discovered that I hadn't paid attention to the length of chain I was ordering. So it defaulted to the 16-inch chain, which basically makes it a choker, and I'm not going to wear a guillotine choker. Otherwise, I would be wearing it for this article, but we're not doing that, homie. That's
I'd change your name on the show to Kitten.
Dude, you should have seen Lindsay's face when I went to put it on, and she was just like, "It's a guillotine choker."
It's a joker. Yes.
Oh, she's like, "You gonna dye your hair ombre next? Maybe you start wearing some eyeshadow." Screw you.
Oh, call it a collar. Yes. Quote, the taxpayer class with unbelievably high audit rates, 5.5 times virtually everyone else, were low-income wage earners taking the earned income tax credit, reported the TRC, noting that the poorest taxpayers are, quote, easy marks in an era when the IRS increasingly relies upon correspondence audits, yet doesn't have the resources to assist taxpayers or answer their questions.
Oh yeah, it was the EIC was the entire reason why I got audited a few years ago, and when I called them to ask them about it, I got told, first of all, the guy that answered was eating a sandwich in my ear the entire time. After I'd waited 4 hours to talk to him, he's eating a sandwich in my ear, and he's like, "Yeah, no, it'll be fine. We'll just send you another letter in 45 days, so it's not a big deal." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then I don't get a letter in 45 days. In 15 days, I get a notice that I now owe them $10,500 because I never responded.
Yeah, of course.
Like that's how they work.
Yeah. In fact, quote, if one ignores the fiction of auditing a millionaire through simply sending a letter through the mail, the odds that millionaires receive a regular audit by a revenue agent, 1.1%, was actually less than the audit rate of the target lowest income wage earners who were audited at 1.27%. The Inflation Reduction Act, passed in August 2022, directed $80 billion worth of new funding over the next decade to the IRS so it could hire 87,000 new workers, purportedly to better target millionaires and billionaires scofflaws. The Biden administration and the credulous journalists claim that this would be in no way increase audits for those making under $400,000 annually.
We promise.
We promise. It's totally not going to happen. The increased capacity meant only those at the top would be targeted, supporters insisted, but this ignores how the IRS incentivizes work and how agency-wide reform might be too heavy of a lift.
Yeah, because you can't reform an agency that was corrupt to begin with. It is built to be corrupt. It has always been corrupt. It will always be corrupt.
That's what happens when a government agency funds themselves.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's also what happens when a government agency pretty much solely exists because of a bunch of Wall Street elites who decided that they wanted to control the American monetary system.
Niners won.
Yay.
12-19. Niners won. I feel better now. So, but let's see, where was I at?
Correspondence audits.
Correspondence audits, which are conducted via mail and are the type frequently used when interacting with the poorest of taxpayers, are much easier and cheaper to conduct than other types of audits. Plus, the earned income tax credit is easy to get wrong. The nonpartisan Congressional Budget Office estimates that new hires will experience in the field will take almost 3 years to ramp up time, with more junior new hires taking longer. So, but yeah, the whole point is that they actually audited more low-income individuals than previous.
Yeah. And as every one of us had predicted, right? And the Biden White House swore up and down, oh, it's definitely super duper not going to happen. We don't know why you would ever think that. It's only happened with every other budget increase to the IRS that has ever happened since its inception, that only low income people get targeted. But this time will be different. We pinky promise. Even though they said that, a whole bunch of us who, have 4+ brain cells to rub together, all went, no, it's definitely still going to happen. They're definitely still going to target low income people exclusively. Like, that is what they're going to do because it's what they've always done. And guess what, guys? That's exactly what happened.
You know why they go after low income individuals?
Because low income individuals can't fight back.
Because they can't afford lawyers.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, plain and simple. It's because low individuals can't fight back. They don't have tax attorneys. They don't have a bunch of a team of CPAs that they can call on. They don't have this stuff available to them. And also they don't have the luxury time to be able to dig through all their paperwork and find the stuff that the IRS is demanding and everything else. So, and they, and generally most low income people are not that fastidious, right? Like, they tend not to keep track of all of their paperwork anyway. So it means that they're an easy target. They don't want to go after the hard targets. It's the same reason that police target low-income individuals and target
low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, because they don't want to have to actually work.
No, that's why
just easier to go after the easy stuff.
That's why they arrest guys doing finger guns instead of going after all the rapists and murderers first.
It's the reason why, if you have $600 in your fucking Venmo, you're going to get audited.
Yep.
But HSBC can openly and actively fund actual terrorist organizations. Mm-hmm. And, well, if we threw them in jail, then the bank would fail and they're just too big to risk that. So they're fine.
Too big to fail. Remember that from a decade ago? No, fucking fuck. That's like 15 years ago now. 2008, 2009.
Yep.
13, 14 years ago. Fuck.
Yeah, that's from the last time I tried to break into the real estate market.
Yeah.
It worked out well.
Jack says, you will henceforth be known as Kitten. Yeah.
It's seriously, it sits on my Adam's apple. Like, I just have the guillotine dangling on my Adam's apple. If I tried it, it's not good. I need a longer chain. I really should have paid more attention when I ordered that.
We are derailed as fuck.
It's just so bad. I mean, it's a really cool. The thing that sucks is the way that because it's handmade and the way that it's done is really cool.
It's a badass looking emblem, yes.
Yeah, but it like she even it's because it's sterling silver and she tarnishes most of the blade except for the very edge so that it looks like used and stuff. and it's super
Oh.
cool. But I need a longer chain so that it sits in the right place because I ain't wearing it like a choker, man. I ain't down with that life.
Yeah, Jack's dropping mental vacations in the chat that I can't repeat.
See, this is why I need my guillotine necklace because I don't have to say anything. I can just hold it up. I mean, I got the shirt.
Yes. Yes.
Depose tyrants.
Depose tyrants. Okay. Speaking of tyrants, where do we want to go? Ooh. Okay, I got one for you. I got tyrants for you. Oh man, where do we want to go though? Okay, 1 through 4. Pick a number.
Well, before we go on, I just want to point out because of my patch with the IRS thing. Remember, kids, taxation is theft.
What's the? Is it a Hunter Thompson quote? Be careful of strong drink; it will make you shoot at tax collectors and miss.
Yeah, and miss. Yes, beware strong drink; it'll make you shoot at tax collectors and miss.
In Minecraft. Yeah.
I mean, Hunter Thompson didn't mean in Minecraft. That guy was nuts.
Yeah.
Like, he got in a gunfight with his next door neighbor. Like,
that guy'd shoot off a cannon every morning.
There's a really good film about him out, and I wish I could remember what it is about his run for sheriff. Just fantastic. Yeah. Fantastic film.
Okay, so 1 through 4, give me a number.
3.
Oh, okay. All right, that's a good one. Oh, you're gonna like this. Okay. FBI director tells WEF the future of national security is in partnership between big tech companies and government. What is that, Andrew?
We have a word. There's a word for a close partnership between businesses and government. It was real popular in Italy in the 20s and 30s, and into the 40s.
That mustache guy tried it.
Yeah, it was popular in Germany for a long time too. Hey, you know what? Mercedes-Benz loved it.
Hugo Boss was a fan.
Ferdinand Porsche, also a big fan.
Volkswagen.
They were in the interest of fairness, they were leaders in gas electric hybrid vehicle technology at the time.
Yeah. They were a leader in a lot of gas things.
A lot of gas technology.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. They're the reason why so many idiots in the United States seem to think that Viking was a culture, and a reason why there's still so much mythos around the Nordic and Germanic way of life that never existed ever and was not a thing, but people still believe.
FBI Director Christopher Wray spoke at the World Economic Forum's meetings in Davos on Tuesday, accompanying his private meeting with banking leaders with a panel on cybersecurity. The panel on national security and cybersecurity focused on the conflict in Ukraine, using that war as a lens through which to discuss the partnership between tech companies and government, AI, and autonomous vehicles. Quote, the sophistication of the private sector is improving, and particularly important, the level of collaboration between the private sector and the government, especially the FBI, has, I think, made significant strides. We are focused on looking at cyber attacks, Ray said. His comments are in line with the WEF founder Klaus Schwab's ideas on how leaders should, quote, master the future through public and private partnerships.
Master the future. What a surprise that Klaus Schwab would be interested in mastering the future between the careful synergy between the public and the private industry. Yeah. We will also start creating a car for the people. Like, it's
okay.
What a shock.
Okay. Quote, we did see, as the conflict erupted, an increased effort by the Russian intelligence services, which had been conducting a malicious cyber activist against infrastructure for years, he continued. For Ray, any tech that is beneficial in U.S. hands is somewhat terrifying when in the hands of American enemies. This, he said, has significant, or this, he said, significantly with regards to China's AI programs, saying they are the biggest hackers in the world.
Well, one, you made it awful easy when you bought all those Chinese microchips to throw into everything. Including the F-35. Good job, guys. How could that go wrong?
Hold on. Speaking of China, hold on. Speaking of China real quick. Germany sent some anti-aircraft technology, some anti-aircraft material. It had to be repaired. It was they sent it to China to be repaired so that they could send it to Taiwan. German anti-aircraft technology was repaired by China so that Germany could send it to Taiwan, so that Taiwan could theoretically use it to defend itself against Chinese aggression.
I mean, that makes perfect sense. I would send American anti-aircraft technology to Iran to get repaired before I sent it to Israel. So well, are you kidding me? Like,
yes.
They're not even pretending anymore on
No.
Like, this is, oh my god. You know, it's wow, guys. That's
okay. Here, hold on. I got one more. I got a bunch here, but I'm not going to go all over them. So this is a quote from Jake Lusarian of Gecko Robotics. Lusarian spoke about autonomous vehicle and robotics and their use in conflict. Quote, "This is our moment," he said. "And I think it's also a moment for Silicon Valley tech companies to understand the importance of national security and working with governments to help protect Western ideals."
Which is why we made sure that China was going to. You know, the funny thing is that, like, you look at this, right? And first of all, I mean, you talk about history being cyclical because people don't bother to actually learn the truth about history, right? And pay attention to what it actually, what actually happened. But on top of this,
Dave Wu saw it in the chat.
But I mean, like I said, that's why we send American missile platforms to Iran to be repaired before we send them to Israel, because we care. Surely they'll work when they get to where they're going. But I mean, like, this is like, let us not forget though, that the entire reason that a soldier detecting AI was fooled was because somebody pulled a what's the video game where you put the box over your head? Anyway, they put the box over their head and walked slowly up to it, and the AI was fooled. They were able to get right on up to it. So, like, don't forget that as the rise of the killer robots happens, all you probably need to hide yourself from them is a handy box, and it will never know you're there. Or the guy who just, like, grabbed the branches off a tree and just, like, snuck up holding the branches of a tree, like, channeled his inner cedar and just snuck up on it. Like, I mean, but like think of how terrifying this is, though. Like, we're talking about a group of men that we know to be evil, right, to their very core.
The WEF,
and
yes,
yeah, and we're talking about them partnering with the FBI, an organization that we know to be evil to its very core. And
Gretchen Whitmer had a speech at the WEF.
Oh, what a shock!
Yeah.
And we're talking about these organizations teaming up and then talking about not only going full Nazi, right, but also with killer robots, which
Autonomous,
his yeah,
autonomous killer robots.
right, which history in science fiction has taught us is
Like
definitely safe.
what? They're building autonomous AI killer robots. And then there's another sector trying to block out the sun, while another sector is trying to get everybody into this virtual meta universe.
You know,
I see where this is going.
I'm
not saying for certain, but I see some like little green letters falling down.
I suddenly feel this urge to go buy like a shiny pleather trench coat, and I'm not sure why.
Oh my goodness.
I can't put my finger on it, but suddenly
but we need them to protect the Western ideals, Andrew.
Somebody needs to get a little white rabbit tattoo on the back of their shoulder.
Jack, get a white rabbit tattoo, bro.
Not Jack. Oh God, no.
You wear a choker. Don't talk about what Jack would wear. Jack wears.
I don't wear the choker. That's the whole point. Wasn't supposed to be a choker. It's supposed to be a necklace.
Oh, calm down, kitten. Calm down. Take a deep breath.
Oh, God.
Do your affirmations. Nope, you need to go sit in front of the mirror and tell yourself your positive affirmations.
Gosh darn it, people like me.
Did you drink enough water, Andrew?
God, no, we're not doing this.
Oh.
But I mean, it's just like, I mean, I hadn't given much credence to simulation theory, and kind of like rolled my eyes about it. And I'm like, yeah, I mean, I understand where it's coming from philosophically, but I don't think that's true. I'm starting to not feel as confident as I once did.
Yeah, I mean, Klaus Schwab's ideas on how leaders should master the future through public and private partnerships.
What is important is that everything is the state, and the state is everything.
Like that should make the hair on the back of your neck stand up and just go, oh no, that's not how it. No, I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen. No.
And if you think that that is a thing that is okay, well, I have a necklace to remind you what your future holds.
That's a collar, Andrew.
It's not.
Are you talking about the shot collar or the guillotine collar?
I mean the guillotine.
Oh,
and
okay.
It's not a.
I thought we were already past that. I thought we were on the other side of things now.
And it ticks me off because, like, I was gonna wear it on this show, and then I like pulled it out of the box when I got it, and I'm like, "Where's the rest of the chain?"
Lindsay's gonna love this conversation.
Oh God, yeah, I'm not gonna hear the end of it. Are you kidding me? That's either her or Grace hears this. I'm gonna never hear the end of it.
Good. I'll give them some tips if they want. You did recently buy that rope. I'm just saying.
I did, but that's for me to use.
Careful how you say that. Careful how you say that.
That is for me to be the one tying, not to be the one tied.
Okay. While we're on that subject, we got another article from the World Economic Forum. World Economic Forum lists misinformation as a top risk threatening the world. Not
There's a book by a German guy that's all about misinformation and how it needs to be controlled.
Yes.
Speaking of people who want to create a synergy between government and private businesses and want to seize the future.
Yes.
He worked for them.
The World Economic Forum names misinformation as one of the most severe threats facing the world in 2023, according to their annual report. Misinformation is ranked 16th or moderately severe on a list of 32 risks having the most impact over a 2-year period. The 2023 WEF Global Risk Report, which displays the results of survey over 1,200 experts across multiple fields. The rank is in line with WEF's accelerated efforts in recent years to address the perceived damage, quote, misinformation, spreading online does to the health of societies.
Oh, good God. Society. We live in a society.
Quote, misinformation and disinformation are together a potential accelerant to the erosion of social cohesion as well as a consequence, and can worsen growing polarization and disunity among societies.
Growing
I'll read that again.
polarization and disunity. We must all be one, comrade.
You're getting ooh-woos in the chat.
Oh,
and
good God.
It's now meowarchy among friends. Friends.
Don't even. I will fucking ooh-woo. Don't you even tempt me. All right. I will do it. I'll just middle of an episode. I'll just be sitting here and I'll just go ooh-woo, and
Yes.
I will. You know what? This thumbnail is just going to be me doing an ahigao now. So
Yes.
I hope you're happy with yourselves.
I flashed to that AK meme with the mag
God, I
halfway out.
hate that so much.
Oh, and there's a fucking croissant.
Oh, I mean,
Okay.
I'm all croissant army, but yes. My God.
Okay. Misinformation and disinformation are together a potential accelerant to the erosion of social cohesion as well as a consequence, and can worsen growing polarization and disunity among societies.
Oh boy. Don't fuck no. Why? Why has this been so derailed by my one mistake?
Jax, do a kitten with an Andrew face, Dave. Just a bearded kitten.
It's just
a
bearded kitten sounds like a euphemism, all right?
A bearded kitten is just it's a double entendre. We'll leave it at that.
No. Why? You bunch of blocked. You're all blocked. All of you. None of you is free from sin.
Someone name the episode just ooh woo.
Oh God.
Ooh woo disinformation. But yeah, misinformation and disinformation are together a potential accelerant to the erosion of social cohesion as well as a consequence, and can worsen growing polarization and disunity among societies. Yeah, we talked about this exact thing before during the Revolutionary War with Sam Adams. Like,
yeah,
propaganda, the Sons of Liberty. That's exactly what they used it for.
Dude, you want to talk about propaganda from that too? Like, I did my whole video, one of my videos on my TikTok on from my History That You Learned Wrong series, where I talk about how George Washington wasn't nearly the great guy that everybody thinks he is, and blah, blah, blah. And the number of people who attempt to argue in my comments the exact myths that I just spent the video dispelling.
Yep.
Because it's so opposed to everything they hold dear.
Yep.
Is like, you want to talk about propaganda and the power of it. When people are literally presented with a detailed explanation of the things that they learned wrong and then go, but you're wrong because the thing that I just said you learned wrong. That's the power of propaganda right there. They flat out refuse to believe it. And then when they're like sources, and I'm like, okay, well, here. Well, that's just, you're just throwing me links because you can't explain it. And that's when I just abandoned it. I go, you're not worth my time. It's I have no interest in speaking to you any longer. It's but I mean, yeah, that's because I mean, it's pure, like most of the American Revolution is pure propaganda, right? Most of what people believe about American revolutionaries is almost pure propaganda. Actually, bearded kittens ending up on a list of domestic. The bearded kitten is a dog whistle.
I'm just like Biting the Bullet has the whole mongoose thing. Anarchy and Monk Friends now has the bearded kittens.
Oh my god, no. Oh, you know who we need to talk to is we need to talk to American Pipe Dream and get one of those the Afghani hats.
Yes,
and throw it on a kitten with a big beard. Well, that can be our new mascot.
A bearded kitten with a shamag.
Yeah, and the little hat and an AK with a bayonet. That won't put us on any list. I'm sure it'll be fine.
Well, Dave's friend said that the ATF knows who Poppins Patches is. His buddy was at SHOT Show and talked to the ATF, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we know who he is." Oh.
That's a good sign.
Hashtag not associated.
Oh, well, you know what's funny is I wore from Ghost from Arcade Spookware. I wore my my ATF police shirt that, you know, it's on the front. It says not ATF in a barely visible ink. I wore that when I had a big squirt gun fight at my family reunion with a bunch of kids and stuff. So that all of the photos, I'm carrying around a squirt gun with ATF on my back. And I also ran up to my cousin's dog and like aimed the squirt gun at it. And I'm like, it's clearly a threat. And it's like a little chihuahua. So it was hilarious. Most of my family didn't get the joke and were kind of offended. So
yeah,
they're lame.
But, okay,
like, they definitely know who we are. They've noticed.
So like for the fifth time, I'm going to read this paragraph so we can get back on the rails. Quote, misinformation and disinformation are together a potential accelerant to the erosion of social cohesion, as well as a consequence, and can worsen growing polarization and disunity among societies. Okay.
Because out of many, one, comrade.
Yes.
They must all be together for the good of the fatherland.
Yes, political polarization exasperated by online information in turn becomes the defining feature of elections and can contribute to the degradation of democracy in a country, the report said. Misinformation and disinformation have, quote, become a prominent tool for geopolitical agents to propagate extremist beliefs and sway elections through social media echo chambers by fostering doubt about political processes, the report stated. Online live and misleading content can also, quote, destabilize trust in information. I'm just saying, there should be like an asterisk right there and be like, yeah, it's those guys.
Yeah, well, you know, like remember the Twitter papers, right? They keep coming out, where Twitter knew, and the FBI and everybody knew that there were no Russian agents, and just kept pushing the narrative anyway. Like that came out, right? This is the exact same shit. They know that they're the misinformation agents. They are well aware that they are.
Mm-hmm. Well, look at the amount of information over the last 3 years now. Right, going back to March 2020 with that spicy flu that happened, like the amount of, oh god, Dave just sent me a picture. I don't want to look yet. Yes, but the amount of information that has come out since 2020. Remember, like previous to the spicy flu coming out, like you didn't really hear about disinformation and misinformation. Right, like there was a little bit, of course, there's a little bit, you know, coming from Trump and all that, but like since 2020, since early 2020, like the misinformation, disinformation, the rhetoric about it has accelerated. It's become a huge thing, right? And because it's become a huge thing, that makes me sus even more.
Well, yeah, the more somebody starts screaming at everyone else around them, misinformation, 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 the more you go, It's, it's
Yeah.
the me think the lady
You
doth
think?
protest too much.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
when, like if it's the thing, like if you're a parent, right, that if there are two kids playing and one kid runs up to you and says, the other kid's about to come tell you something, but it's a lie, don't believe them. You know that
That
whatever
kid
they
has a
say is
higher ethic.
almost, yeah,
That kid has a higher ethical rating than Congress.
exact. Well, one, yeah, but you also know you're well aware now that whatever the next kid comes up and tells you is definitely the truth. And
Oh
the
God,
funny
Dave.
thing is that people know that, but then when it comes to like news and stuff, these people are still taken in by this kind of crap. What did
Oh,
Dave do? What did he do? What new horror has been visited upon the world?
I dropped that in the chat, and then you can have that. Yes. Oh, but let's see. Where was I sent? Quote, the election of less centrist leaders and adoption of more quote extreme policies and economic superpowers may fracture alliances, limit global collaboration, and lead to a more volatile dynamic. The report also says.
I don't give a shit about your global cooperation, Gene Roddenberry. Like,
I want the
bite
complete
me, okay?
opposite. I want the
Yeah.
opposite of that.
I mean, that's the thing, right? Is like truth inherently divides. Actual truth will inherently divide people. It just will. Always. And when you start trying to go, oh, well, the lies are going to prevent unity.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
You know,
Now that okay, this first line: the election of less centrist leaders and the adoption of more extreme policies and economic superpowers will fracture alliances, limit global collaboration, and lead to a more volatile dynamic.
oh no, Klaus Schwab won't get his globalism.
Oh no, that's
Whatever
so
will we do?
terrible.
Whatever will we do?
Oh no, I guess
Yeah.
George Soros will just have to buy another 37 county district attorneys.
Yeah. This is, I mean, uh, and that's the thing, right? Is like these people, and the problem is that there's plenty of people in the world who say these things without ever actually agreeing with the globalists, right? Because they don't actually sit there and think about what they're saying, because they're just parroting all of these talking points that they keep hearing again and again and again, and they never actually process it because they're idiots. So that's the worst part about this, is like a lot of these people like mean this and don't understand what they're saying.
Yes. All right. Misinformation and disinformation itself was ranked more severe than employment crisis, infectious diseases, and the use of weapons of mass destruction. Yes, quote unquote, misinformation and disinformation itself was ranked more severe than employment crisis, infectious diseases, and the use of weapons of mass destruction. They would, like the WEF would rather a nuke drop than people spread misinformation or disinformation.
Well, yeah. Obviously, because only one of those is actually going to depopulate the world.
Yes.
Yes. What?
Mis and disinformation are defined in the report as, quote, persistent false information widely spread through social media networks that influences public opinion towards distrust in facts and authority.
Yeah, that we can't have people distrusting authority and authorities facts. I mean facts.
Let's see. Okay, we'll hop onto this one. So this is the Global Risks Report from the World Economic Forum for 2023. The top 10 risks. There's a 2-year period and a 10-year period. So over a 2-year period, the top 10 risks are the cost of living crisis, natural disasters and extreme weather, geoeconomic confrontation, failure to mitigate climate change, erosion of social cohesion and social polarization, large-scale environmental damage incidents, failure of climate change adoption, widespread cybercrime and cyber insecurity, natural resource crisis, large-scale involuntary migration. So that is their top 10 over the next 2 years. Top
Which
10
should tell you the kind of crap they're about to pull.
Oh, just hold on. Just wait a second. The top 10 over the next 10 years. Number 1, failure to mitigate climate change, failure of climate change adoption, natural disaster and extreme weather events, biodiversity loss and ecosystem collapse, large-scale involuntary migration, natural resources crisis, erosion of social cohesion and societal polarizations. That's number 7. Widespread cybersecurity and cyber insecurity. Number 8. Geoeconomic confrontation. Number 9. Large environmental damage incidents. Number 10. So we know what's coming next. Will eat the
don't
bug.
forget through all of this,
Yes.
you are the carbon they
Yes.
want to reduce.
Yes. And of course, the WEF turns off the comments on their Twitter.
Of course they did, because we wouldn't want anybody spreading misinformation or anything.
Yes. So. Yes. The WEF stepped up efforts to combat so-called misinformation during the COVID-19 pandemic when alleged conspiracy theories spread by those who questioned the official dogma on the virus and its remedies exploded online.
You mean all of the things that turned out to be true, those alleged conspiracy theories?
Shh.
That's why they're alleged conspiracy theories, because they were actual conspiracies. They were just alleged to be theories.
Yes. Complaints about rampant misinformation surfaced during the U.S. election years, even though recent studies have shown that the same online disinformation operations may have had minimal sway on public opinions. Other line of efforts the WEF has suggested for cracking down on alleged online falsehoods include an artificial intelligence that can recognize and flag or restrict content deemed dangerous by expert trainers. Respondents to the study identified, quote, erosion of social cohesion and social polarization as the 5th highest short-term risk, toppling prolonged economic downturn and large-scale environmental disasters, which I just read, but yes.
This is just...
Doesn't it make you feel all warm and fuzzy that they really care about you?
And their whole misinformation thing as Greta Thunberg gets fake arrested, and
you watch that video of her smiling with the cops and like, okay, let's go.
Yeah, and then they're like, all right, ready, everybody, make sure the cameramen are in position. Okay, whatever else. Personally, I loved my video about when you're hired to fake arrest Greta Thunberg, and then you remember that she's the reason why gas is $4 a gallon.
Did you see that about Germany and the green energy? Right, like, no. So like Germany, they closed like all their coal mines and all this other stuff, and that they're like almost entirely green energy, and the cost went from like 5 cents per kilowatt hour up to 55 cents per kilowatt hour.
Oh my god!
And now they're removing some of the windmill farms to get to the coal so that they can restart the factories.
Oh, what a shock. It's almost like the things that are incredibly energy dense that historically humanity has always used because it's incredibly energy dense are a good thing to use, and that homeogenetic climate change is a load of crap.
So, are you saying that they have been spreading misinformation and disinformation about certain technologies?
Gosh, I mean, not them. They're so trustworthy. Only slightly less so than used car salesmen.
Only slightly more than telemarketers, bro.
Only slightly more than telemarketers.
Oh, but don't worry.
I mean,
guys.
you look seriously though. You look at the average congressman. You look at their faces, and you tell me you would trust that person.
George Santos, bro. I'm just saying, George Santos. Look at George Santos. That's all that you need. Pelosi.
If any, yeah, Pelosi. Like, look at. I was just gonna say, Nancy Pelosi. You look at that face, and you tell me that you would believe a single thing that woman has to say to you if she walked up to you in a parking lot.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I don't have any change.
Yeah.
No, I won't let you do that.
Oh, good
I
lord.
I don't care if you're wearing a collar.
You know what?
What?
I am not the one in my relationships who wears a collar. Damn it.
Hey, your dynamic is your dynamic, bro. It's fine. No judgment here. No misinformation or disinformation. It's fine. I'm not worried about your social cohesion.
We need to work towards global cooperation, bro.
That's what Paul Pelosi and that guy were trying to do.
Oh man.
Yes, drum and gun. Birds aren't real. Yes, we know that.
Yep, they're government drones.
Andrew killed the last one.
You know, I actually have like a bird's nest that constantly gets used in one of my windows. And like all like that goes to my laundry room, and
they're spying on you.
Yeah, and like I'll look at them, and especially like when the mourning doves use it, like I'll always go like glare at them and just be like, I know who you are.
Jack says kitten ears. If you remember when Derica, when we first started this podcast, Derica had headphones that had cat ears on them. And I believe that the time that Crystal was wearing them when Crystal was on. So we have had people with kitten ears on.
I was looking for new headphones, like studio quality headphones, and I found some that have cat ears on them, and they're expensive, but just purely to annoy everyone, I may now need to wear those every time I'm on.
I'm looking up on Amazon the tactical cat ears for the ear protection.
I have a couple of friends who have those. Oh God. And tactical cat ears.
Let's see. Well, they're not that expensive. Not that we should be. We're all just all over the place now.
Oh, you see the latest in the chat. You're welcome for that educational moment.
Yes. All right. Let's see. We got 2 articles left. Where do you want to go?
I don't know. We've already gone to hell at this point in a handbasket, so
just continue through hell.
Yeah, we might as well just keep going.
All right. So this is a article from the Rutherford Institute, John Whitehead, who's a phenomenal writer. He doesn't get enough credit. He's a phenomenal writer. So this is a 360-degree surveillance, how police use private or public-private partnership to spy on Americans.
What? No. When has that ever happened in history?
Get the Anarcho Cats meme page to sponsor you guys then. Oh,
They don't have any money. They're anarchists. None of us have any money.
In the age of ambiguous surveillance, there are no private lives. Everything is public, which is not wrong. Surveillance cameras mounted on utility poles, traffic lights, businesses and homes, license plate readers, ring doorbells, GPS devices, dash cameras, drones, store security cameras, geofencing, geo-tracking, Fitbits, Alexa, internet-connected devices. There are roughly 1 billion surveillance cameras worldwide, and that number continues to grow thanks to their wholehearted adoption by governments, especially law enforcement, military agencies, businesses, and individual consumers. With every new surveillance device we welcome into our lives, the government gains yet another toehold into our private worlds. Indeed.
And yet people still don't understand why us tech guys are always just like, I would never get an Alexa. I would never get a Google Home or a Nest. I would never get any of these smart devices.
Nope. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Nope. No, thank you. Indeed, empowered by advances in surveillance technology and emboldened by rapidly expanding public-private partnership between law enforcement, the intelligence community, and the private sector, police have become particularly adept at sidestepping the Fourth Amendment.
As if your paper shield ever meant anything. But yeah, there's like one surveillance device for every 2 human beings in the world.
Something like that, yeah. And that surveillance device, that's not just camera.
Yeah, right? There's one camera for every 8 people in the world, but there's one surveillance device for every 2 people in the world.
Yeah, and don't forget things like the prison program and everything that Edward Snowden revealed, like the NSA, word farming, that whole thing. It's everywhere. You can't avoid it. There is no real anonymity in the world anymore, unless you live in a cave by yourself. And then I
guarantee you,
even then, the bear is probably a snitch.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I guarantee you, even the Amish, they have dossiers on every single one of them. Guys don't even have birth certificates, and they probably all have FBI dossiers.
It's entirely possible. Oh, when I was doing with Shane Radcliffe, when we were doing the Vonnie podcast. That's one of the and mail packages. Yes, that's all over the place. But when I was doing Vonnie podcast with Shane, that's one of the things that we talked about a lot is just trying to stay off the radar. And there's no way to stay off the radar, right? And the whole thing is about risk mitigation. That's the best you can do, is just to find a way to live that doesn't bring you up on any radars. Don't do podcasts.
Well, yeah, I get that all the time when people are like, well, why would you do the AI thing? That's just to get your face by. You think they don't have mine? Dude, I'm on a podcast. They have my face. They know who I am.
This is episode 209 plus Vanu, plus the stuff I did with Jeremy and all that other stuff. I got probably close to 600 hours of recorded media.
Yeah, they are well aware. I assure you, in a very real way, they are well aware of who I am.
Well, yeah, military, blah blah blah. Yeah,
I have gotten phone calls telling me to shut up, so they know who I am.
Yeah, as law professor Avidan, Avidan, Avidan,
yeah, I think Avidan. Cover. I don't know.
Why cover? All right.
Avidan sounds like a bad guy in Supernatural. I'm not gonna lie.
Ooh, if you don't pronounce the D, it's Avian. Why cover? which sounds like a bird. And we know
Fake news.
birds aren't real.
Fake news.
I'm risking social cohesion with my misinformation. All right. As Professor Vivian Y. Cover explains, quote, a key feature of the surveillance state is the cooperative relationship between the private sector and the government. The private sector's role is vital to the surveillance both practically and legally. The private sector, of course, provides the infrastructure and the tools for the surveillance. The private sector is also critical to the surveillance state's legality. Under the third-party doctrine, the Fourth Amendment is not implicated when the government acquires information that people provide to corporations because they voluntarily provide the information to another entity and assume the risk that the entity will disclose the information to the government. Therefore, people do not have a reasonable expectation of privacy in their calling data or potentially given their emails. As a result, the government does not normally need a warrant to obtain information transmitted electronically. But the Fourth Amendment is not only a source of protection for individual privacy, it also limits government's access and abuse through challenges by the people. The third-party doctrine removes this vital and populist check on government overreach.
Right, just like QI removes the people's check on police overreach and all that. It's
if like this commercially available device, it has disclaimers, it has waivers when you log on to it. If you download that app off the internet, bro, it's not secure. Signal is not secure.
Why do you think they went out of their way to kill the black phone? Right? Anybody else remember the black phone? I had a black phone for a little while, where you could only actually get, even that came with disclaimer that unless you were contacting another black phone, through the black phone app, you have no reasonable expectation of privacy because it can't be encrypted in the same way that the black phones can encrypt things.
Yes.
So like you're limited in that. So you needed to have all your friends go out and spend $500 up front in cash to buy a black phone.
Yep. No. You want to keep reading? I gotta use the bathroom real quick.
So critical to this end run around the Fourth Amendment's prohibitions against unreasonable searches and seizures by government agents is a pass play that allows police to avoid public transparency requirements, open bids, public meetings, installation protocols, by having private companies and individuals do the upfront heavy lifting, leaving police to harvest the intel on the back end. Stingray devices, facial recognition technology, body cameras, automated license plate readers, gunshot detection, predictive policing software, AI-enhanced video analytics, real-time crime centers, fusion centers. All of these technologies and surveillance programs rely on public-private partnerships that together create a sticky spider web from which there is no escape. As the cost of these technologies become more affordable for the average consumer, an effort underwritten by the tech industry and encouraged by law enforcement agencies and local governing boards, which in turn benefit from access to surveillance they don't need to include in their budgets. Big cities, small towns, urban and suburban rural communities alike are adding themselves to the surveillance state's interconnected grid. What this adds up to for government agencies, that is the FBI, NSA, DHS, and a bunch of other alphabet agencies that I'm not allowed to say, as well as local police, is a surveillance map that allows them to track someone's movements over time and space, hopscotching from doorbell camera feeds and business security cameras to public cameras on utility poles, license plate readers, traffic cameras, drones, etc. And don't forget, this also is something that, right, if you remember way back, the Will Smith movie, Enemy of the State, right? And that was like 1998.
Is it?
That movie was out.
With Will Smith and Gene Hackman?
Yeah. And that was like, and they remember they track him constantly through all this stuff and everything. And remember, they have to plant these GPS trackers in his clothes. We don't have to even do that anymore because you happily carry a GPS tracker in your pocket.
Yep. Your Fitbit.
Yeah. Or on your wrist. Or, you have, there's, Jack just brought up in the chat, Eagle Eye. Remember Eagle Eye, where things get tracked, and that was 15 years ago. So think about how much stuff has come out since those films already showed you how they could track your every single movement.
Yeah, wasn't there
And
one
if you
recently
think
about them using Wi-Fi to track people?
they can actually use Wi-Fi to see in a room.
Yes.
Fun fact. Because they're radio signals that then bounce off of objects. And they can, in fact, read those bounces and get a full view in real time of the interior of a room in which there is Wi-Fi signal.
Yes. Vice article. Motherboard says scientists are getting eerily good at using Wi-Fi to see people through the walls in detail. No, I didn't. For some reason, I didn't book that, and I had to go back and find it in the chat.
There is technology that has existed for 15 years, about 15 years ish, that allows you to shine a laser, an invisible laser, at a window or a light bulb in a room and hear everything that is happening inside that room as far as people talking in high definition in real time.
Yeah. Reading window vibrations, all sorts of stuff. So
Yep.
yeah, you don't have privacy. We kind of, I mean, we assume that, but now we know. But I don't want to go in this whole article because it's a long article. As I said, this guy's a really good writer.
Yeah, I like what he said about the predatory effect of surveillance cameras has yet to be fully addressed, but they're vulnerable to being hacked by third parties and abused by corporate and government employees.
Yeah, Ring currently partners with upwards of 2,161 law enforcement agencies and 455 fire departments, and that number grows exponentially every year. November 2022, San Francisco gained access to live footage from privately owned internet cameras. Yeah. So, as Uncle Ted said, the Industrial Revolution and its consequences have been a disaster for the human race.
Yeah, they have. It's, I mean, that's the thing is like a lot of people go, you know, there used to be revolutions all the time and people used to, yeah, because you didn't get heard constantly. You didn't get noticed constantly. You could have secret meetings in the basements of bars that no one knew had happened. You can't really do that anymore. There's no way to do it.
So, all right, let's end this on a different note and talk about something that's entirely different than everything else. Population explosion of Canadian super pigs could spread into the northern United States.
Oh man, if Andrea is watching this, I am not going to hear the end of it.
Super pigs?
Oh yeah, Andrea Mason, Facebook, and it's seriously her, me, and pigs, man. I don't know what the hell. Like I made a comment about like how they're an environmental disaster years ago, and it's just been an ongoing thing between us and the pigs.
Oh, okay.
It's not important. I just think it's fun.
Yes, super pig.
Super pig. Bow before the power of the super pig. Well, I mean, we've seen giant boars, right? Like in like Georgia and stuff, right? They've brought down the hogzillas that are like 400 pounds, 500 pounds, massive fucking super pigs. But now they're apparently an epidemic.
Yes, Jack, super pigs. I'll drop that in the chat for you so you can read it too.
Yeah. Because remember that pigs are not native to the North American continent at all, right? They're not. They're introduced by Europeans and then went feral and then have become a horrible disaster for everything ever since.
Homer had a spider, and that was a disaster.
Yeah, and that was a disaster. You see?
Yes, imagine a hogzilla with cold tolerance. Yes, that's exactly what it is. So this is what is this article? Field and Stream article. The U.S. may soon have a new wild pig problem. If you don't know that we have a pig problem, then you're not paying attention. The U.S. may soon have a new wild pig problem. Until now, the invasive species had largely proliferated in warm places like Southeast Texas and California. But in recent years, invasive pigs have started thriving in Canada and may spread into North Dakota, Montana, Michigan, and Minnesota. According to Dr. Ryan Brook, who leads the University of Saskatchewan's Canadian Wild Pig Research Project, the University of Saskatchewan's Canadian Wild Pig Research Project.
I want a shirt for that. Like the
Just yes. Oh, support single moms. Wild Pig Research.
I just
Project.
like I would volunteer for one summer to help them just so that I got like a staff t-shirt that
Yes.
said that on it. It's just that's great. University of Saskatchewan's Canadian Wild Pig Research Project.
Yes. Canada's wild pig problem is relatively new. Quote, the U.S. has a 400 plus year history with invasive wild pigs, but we didn't have any here until the early 1980s, he says. Quote, there was a big push to diversify agriculture with species like wild boars and ostriches. Wild boars were brought in from Europe to be raised on farms across Canada. Most of these pigs were kept on meat farms, but some were used on high fenced hunting preserves. Many farmers and ranchers soon crossbred the wild boars with domestic pigs. According to Brooke, the hybridization resulted in bigger, quote, super pigs that could survive in cold climates.
How could that ever go wrong?
Yes. Quote, for surviving in cold winters, one of the rules of ecology is the bigger, the better. Large body animals survive the cold better and have better reproduction in these conditions. Oh, just like the wolves around Yellowstone that they brought down from Canada.
Yeah, because we'd already wiped out the American gray wolf, and so we needed the Canadian one to come in, and they're just giant genetic monsters that should never have existed.
Yes. In the early 2000s, the market for farmed boars dropped out of Canada. Some escaped from their enclosures, and others were let free without anyone to sell them. In less than 20 years, the wild or feral population exploded, in part due to the species' extraordinary high reproductive rate. Wild boars now roam approximately 620,000 square miles in Canada, primarily in the provinces of Saskatchewan, Manitoba, and Alberta, which is where the least population is in Canada.
So that they can breed completely out of control.
Yes.
And just continue developing and changing and adapting and completely obliterating the natural ecosystem. It was one time.
If you're watching the video, yeah. Quote, that they can survive in such cold climate is one of the biggest surprises of this issue. The prairie provinces, that is Saskatchewan, Manitoba, Alberta, are where they have the coldest winters in Canada, except for the very far north. Quote, one of the things they do to survive is tunnel under the snow. They go into a cattail marsh and channel into the soft snow and cut nests in the cattails. If you go early in the morning on a cold day, you can actually see steam pouring out of the tops of the nests.
Which means it's an easy target for a grenade launcher. I'm just saying. It's... Yeah. I could have some fun.
Okay, now hold on. For native species, the issue is dire. Quote, wild hogs feed on anything. They gobble up tons and tons of goslings and ducklings in the spring. They can take down a white-tailed deer, even an adult. Originally, it was like, wow, this is something we can hunt. But it's become clear that they're threatening the white-tailed deer, elk, and especially waterfowl, not to mention the crop damage. The downsides outweigh any benefit wild hogs may have as a huntable species.
You know, if you guys had started hunting them immediately, okay, if you had taken a bunch of friggin' rednecks and given them a bunch of ARs and gone, have at, gentlemen, you would not have this problem. But instead, you were like, oh, let's let them build a population first so that it's a sustainable, huntable species because environment. And I don't understand what any of those words mean. And now it's a problem. Yet somehow you're constantly worried that if you let these same rednecks go out and hunt too many white-tailed deer unrestricted, they're going to wipe them out. But the wild hogs magically somehow are out of control.
Well, yeah,
Like, if you just
it wasn't really an issue until they started eating the Canadian gooselings,
the Cobra
right?
chickens.
The Cobra chickens, yes.
Yes, the Canadian Cobra chickens. I mean, I'm not sure that that's a downside, but man, I hate geese. Those things are just jerks for no good reason.
You just alienated and lost our entire Canadian listeners, all of them.
Well, I don't like what he's
They're,
talking about, eh?
they're apologizing to you. Sorry, but we can no longer listen.
Yeah, we're very sorry, but we cannot listen to you anymore, eh?
Oh, don't you know? We love our gooses, don't you know?
Dude, I live in Wisconsin. There is no love lost between Canada and Wisconsin.
Yes. And unfortunately, the issue may soon spread into the northern U.S. Quote, we have already documented pig occurrences less than 10 miles from the U.S. border. Quite honestly, I think there have been some in Manitoba going directly into North Dakota for the last 5 or 6 years. There's no physical biological boundary of the U.S.-Canadian border. There is hardly any kind of fencing to speak of. This is a real risk to pigs moving south into the U.S.
Can you imagine a bunch of North Dakotans who have to go the majority of the year without being able to hunt in North Dakota?
Yeah, let's put this picture up. Those are not small pigs. They are very large and they are furry and they look very, very mean.
Those look like true wild boars and they look mean. And don't forget that wild boars can and do regularly kill people. Right? They're incredibly dangerous. They have tusks that will rip you open.
Mm-hmm.
They are not cute, cuddly things.
Yes. Okay. Hold. Give me one paragraph. Though there are no definitive population estimates, Brooks says it's already likely too late to eradicate wild pigs in Canada. Doing so, he says, would be like, quote, sort of like trying to eradicate mosquitoes. Still, local authorities are doing whatever they can to mitigate the spread of the invasive species. According to Brooke, one of the most effective control strategies is ground trapping entire sounders. Sounders is a family group. His research team has also proven that using a Judas pig, which involves following a GPS-colored pig to help him find other pigs, so authorities can remove them from the landscape. Andrew just lost the Judas pig.
Judas pig! That is amazing. Let's be honest. That is an amazing term. Oh, sometimes scientists are great.
Hold on. There is also a Squeal on Pigs program that you can call in pig sightings.
Oh, I just saw a bunch of them at Dunkin' Donuts.
Yes, Judas. They're using Judas pigs and a Squeal on Pigs program.
Oh man, that is
to help eradicate super pigs.
I mean, seriously, like if you, and here's the thing too, is remember, like Canada is in the process of banning basically every firearm, right?
Almost every,
which means that essentially there's nothing the average person can even do about these pigs in Canada. Now in the United States, we still got our guns right now.
Yeah, I mean,
and I mean, dude, I love hog hunting. It's freaking great because there's no bag limit. You don't have to feel bad about slaughtering an entire family because they're an ecological disaster.
An entire sounder.
Yeah, an entire sounder. You don't have to feel bad about that because they're an ecological disaster, right? They need to be eradicated. So there are basically no restrictions in, like, say, Texas on hog hunting. You can do it from helicopters. You can use tannerite. You can...
I mean, Jesus Christ, Andrew.
Whatever you need to do, you can do it to take care of them. I'm just saying, if you have like a big, like 5-gallon bucket and the first third of it is feed corn, and the rest of it is tannerite, and you just wait long enough at night, you will have a nice big old group right there, and you just shoot that thing, and that particular sounder is taken care of.
The entire sounder is sounding no more.
Yeah, just and done. And
Andrew, you're just making me more excited. Oh God, Brett.
it's like hitting a delete button on like 30 pigs. It's great. And
Did you say it's like hitting delete button on feet pics?
on 30 pigs.
Oh, on 30 pics. I thought you said feet pics.
What?
Oh
No.
my goodness.
Well, I don't even know
Man,
what that.
again,
that-
no judgment. No judgment. No judgment. It's fine.
Good Lord, what kind of a weird? I mean, I'm a degenerate, but y'all are trying to turn me into a weird degenerate, right? That's
Well, they say degeneration is a slippery slope.
it's pretty soon. You guys are gonna convince me to like wear a friggin' furry outfit, and at that point, I'm just driving into the ocean.
Our buddy Andy Coons made a tweet the other day that said, "The U.S. has a much larger furry problem than it does a Nazi problem." Oh,
I concur with that. You know, the real problem though are the furry Nazis, which do totally exist. I've met one. He was dressed as a fox in an SS uniform, and I wish I was making that up.
I don't have anything to follow that.
It's a thing that exists, and that is how I know that we're doomed as a species. Right there. If there was ever an indicator, that.
What if just follow me? That furry met Super Pig, and the result was Man Bear Pig.
Man Bear. I'm super cereal. It's an ecological problem.
Yes.
Man Bear Pig. At that point, I'm pretty sure that Al Gore's head would in fact explode.
Hey, Al Gore, since he became climate, what's a climate wolf, right? The kid who cried wolf, has made $300 million being a climate alarmist.
I need to become a pig alarmist. That's what needs to happen. And just start. Yeah.
Yeah. You just need to start your own Squeal on Pigs program.
Yep, exactly. It's man, I mean, seriously though, like hog hunting has been an ongoing thing for so long in the United States. And it's especially in the South, right? Like in the American South, like it's been a major, major, major problem. Mm-hmm. But the upper Midwest has kind of avoided that becoming an issue. And now Canadians have yet again caused problems that are going to spread.
Oh,
Canadians.
We need a Judas furry.
wearing a GPS so we can track them to where they burrow under the snow.
There you go.
I knew it. Just drop a JDAM on the location. Don't even worry about it. Just a JDAM.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, boom. All right, there we go.
Break out the $13,000 round 950 JDJ.
Or like a Moab, or they're 35-30 Moab.
Flamethrower was just a reason.
That's Klaus, the Flammenwerfer.
I know. We're getting too far into that. You know, we don't want to offend your people, Andrew.
Those are not my people.
Degeneracy has limits, bro.
There is a limit to my degeneracy. Okay. There is a limit. There is too much degeneracy. Is the thing.
Stop it, cat ears.
Yeah, it stops at the furry thing, and among other things, it just there are limits. All right, like I'm a filthy degenerate compared to a lot of people that I know, but I ain't that degenerate. That's a little far. You remember that CSI episode where that dude was who was like at a furry convention and got drugged by his girlfriend, and then that guy thought he shot a giant coyote? Am I the only one who remembers that? Nah.
No.
Well, there was a CSI episode.
I can see that happening.
Yeah, there was a CSI episode, and I don't think that guy did anything wrong. at all. So, and the fact that in the show no one charges him with shooting the guy, I'm just like, yeah, there's a reason everyone's like, no, you're good.
I didn't kill any people. I only shot furries.
I only shot a furry.
Yeah. On that note, we've dragged this out long enough. Let's throw some links and get out of here.
Oh, okay. So if you want to care for your beard like a Viking, like I do, you're going to go to thebeardstruggle.com, use code InkDanicus15 and get 15% off of your entire order. You can get all sorts of beard oils, beard balms, shampoo, conditioner. They even have stuff for the ladies. No, not for their beards. Ladies aren't dwarves. All right. They have stuff for ladies' hair and like perfume. They have cologne. They have a beard straightener for you. It's got carbon fiber on it. It's super cool. Again, thebeardstruggle.com, InkDanicus15. You get 15% off.
Does it work on super pigs?
I mean, I don't know. It would probably make it, based on how it made my beard real nice and soft and supple, I would assume that it would do the same thing for pig hair, but I don't really know the pH balance needed for pig skin, which is actually weirdly sensitive. So I don't think I'd recommend that, but
okay.
If you care about your super pigs, if you care about the well-being of your super pigs, yeah, fun fact, because we're going to learn with Andrew real quick. Pig skin is real sensitive, real sensitive. So be very careful. Also, we are an affiliate of RK Spookware. If you know who they are, you know what they do. I don't need to tell you. If you need the stuff for the thing that you do with their stuff, check them out. Use the affiliate link. Support us, get a discount. Also, we are an affiliate of Reaper Apparel brand. Super cool company, super cool message, awesome designs. I love their stuff. Their 10-day challenge is definitely something that I think everybody should take just to improve their own lives. They're super great, and you should definitely check them out. Use the affiliate link, and you get 15% off. If you use the code Inked Anarchist, you get 10% off. Make sure that you buy Derica's book, Think for Yourself, a thinking workbook for beginners. It is available on Amazon. It's like $10, and it is a workbook and for beginners. Please think critically based on that before you leave a review. Check out poppinspatches.com. Our boy Dave over there makes some pretty high quality patches. They are super awesome, and they last really a long time. He's got a bunch of stuff that'll hit you right in the nostalgia button. And he's got a bunch of other cool stuff that you'll really enjoy. He's done some designs based on ridiculous crap we've said on this show, which is super cool. So check him out. He's a big supporter of the show, and so we want you to support him. Check out the Quarterings coffee brand coffee. They are affiliated with Chris, who's not on tonight. There's an affiliate link in the description for that. Check out, there's an affiliate link in here as well for Lions, Not Sheep. Be a lion, not a sheep. Be a leader. It seeks to promote being leaders of men rather than being followers. They also have some cool designs, cool stuff. They did send me a morale patch to give away at some point, so I'll probably do that sometime soon. They have some really awesome stuff. Check out the Till Valhalla project. I am an affiliate of theirs as well, seeking to end veteran suicide, especially veterans of the global war on terror, more of whom have died from their own hands than have died in combat. And 22 veterans a day, and so they seek to undo that.
5.5 times as many now, 6 times as
many. It's truly ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. They make this super sweet bracelet.
Yep.
That I wear, obviously facing myself for myself. They have a 22 a day bracelet. They have some really cool hoodies, really cool t-shirts, cool hats, everything else. Check them out, support them, support that mission. So that maybe we can help keep people from offing themselves for having been lied to and done things that they believed were okay.
Talk America. Thanks, Jack.
Yes, that's the last one. Also, speaking of mental health, Walk the Talk America. You go back a few episodes. You have Mike on the show talking about their mission, everything else. Please support them. If you donate to them, I believe it's $25 gets you a morale patch. $50 gets you, I think, a hoodie or a t-shirt. Their mission is super amazing and super valuable. If you are pro-gun, there is no reason you should not be supporting Walk the Talk America in some way, shape, or form, whether it's telling people about their free mental health screening they have on their website, or just supporting them monetarily, promoting their mission. They are super important, and they are definitely a very, very worthy cause that I'm extremely passionate about. And I would love to see more people talking about it. I'd love to see them grow into one of the biggest mental health organizations in the country,
That'd
personally.
be
I think it would be
fantastic.
awesome. But I think that is it. Make sure you support your local single moms. They are working their way through medical school. They're going to be doctors someday, and
No,
they need your support.
they're going to be dental hygienist.
Dental hygienists, maybe CNAs. You know,
Yeah,
that's
that's possible.
Aiden,
So
Jaden, and Caden need your help.
indicated, yes. On that note, give us a piece of life advice.
Oh, do I have any decent pearls of wisdom anymore? I don't know.
How bad do you want the new STG-44?
I want it terribly, man. The new STG-44 from PSA is set to be absolutely fantastic. It'll be available in 8mm Kurtz and 5.56 and 300 blackout and 7.62 Russian. How do you beat that? It's going to be sweet, especially in 7.62 Russian, because the STG-44 was a direct inspiration for the AK-47. So, like, that is cool. And it has an adjustable gas block and is suppressible with adjustable thread rates on the muzzle, so you can get it threaded correctly for modern muzzle devices and stuff. So I
Perfect
am
to be
super
used
jazzed.
for hunting super pigs.
Yeah. Can you imagine doing that with a STG-44 and 8mm Kurtz wearing the old school German like combat smocks and stuff? Yeah, well, pre-Flecktarn, but yeah, that stuff, that would be like Stricktarn. Stricktarn's one of them and stuff. Like wearing that stuff, that would be awesome. Like Schnell, bum, 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 bum. It'd just be great.
What's your cat ears? That'd be fantastic.